Kasuhan po ako. Anton po.
Alright, thank you. Thank you. Muito obrigado.
Di nada.
but you knew that. Slidey Pope. Let's go.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No confusion, regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm where you got smart tea with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
Way out my feelings and nothing can stress me. The way I run the game, I'm feeling like referee. No, like Moses parting the Red Sea, like a chauffeur, me in the back of the Bentley. So I step out, all white, can't stain. What you want? Rosé, champagne? I got that. Big bag, back pain. Taking the piss, the only time I can't aim. So we toasted a good life, living every minute to the full, cause I could die. Pull up at the spot, open doors, and it's suicide. Chillin' rent free, where the check please? Couple hundred G's on a good night.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No confusion, regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm where you got smart tea with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now. I like the way I'm feeling now. No confusion, regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm where you got smart tea with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
Yeah. All I wanna do is jaye. 220 on the highway. I'm about the energy. Baby, if it's good, send it my way. If it's bad, keep it private. All these haters so vexed, I'm the best alive. You don't want to test the guy. You been sleeping on yourselves, you test it fly. Throw myself a party, then act surprised. Be the highest in the room when the guests arrive. Yeah, ain't nobody realer. Touchdown, got a couple G's for the dealer. Gang signs out the window, my killer. Life getting sweeter, no use water, dilute my Ribena. So we toast to the good life. Every minute to the full, cause we could die. Pull up open doors and it's suicide. Yeah, 16 bad, whoop, and they all by the poolside.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No confusion, regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm where you got smart tea with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now. I like the way I'm feeling now. No confusion, regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm where you got smart tea with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now. Dead boys, enough dust, they make dust, enough dress, gas flare, MC boys, roll up, and the nice dust. Say your body talk to me nice. Say now my love you didn't need for your life. Yeah, our love no be lie. Say yeah we did together, yeah, day and night. Yeah, if I leave, you go by. Yeah, if you leave, I go stroking your back, baby. Loving your body, baby. As you're whining your body, baby. So crazy. Loving your body, baby. Girl, you want me to me. I just wanna let you know. Hope every day
you don't need no other body. You don't need no other body. Only you feel on my body. Only you feel on my body. You don't need no other body. Baby, baby, everybody's the same. No one loves you like this. No one wants you the same way.
Up till the morning, my head wants to turn from your loving. I just wanna get you beside me.
Give me all you need. Give me all you need. Give me all you. Give me all you need. Give me all you need. Give me all.
Make I give you all you need. Every touch you need. Give me all. Make I give you all you need, baby. Yeah.
You don't
Some
need no
people I seem not to be
other body.
hearing myself.
You don't
Hello,
need no
engineer.
other body.
Can we work together, please?
Only you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad the way we are going about the launch. So we are going to be reconvening here in the next 5 minutes. All right, in the next 5 minutes, we'll be reconvening here to move forward to the last session of the day. So let's start getting stay put. Let's start clearing off and getting set for the next session. And as well, you can start networking. You can start talking. You can start linking. You can meet people and start getting that kind of conversations that we answer your questions. Please, you have 5 minutes to do that before we reconvene, please. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, music can keep on playing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what?
Lux Productions.
Help me spread this message like Globacom. Make nobody come here, they come the phone. I know say no be everybody follow come. I know be everybody so be silicon. Make them no come they wash you. I make you do exactly what you want to. Make you no say I don't tell you. Make you know the devil come to use you. But if I tell you say I love you, I beg you no go turn me to your move. That time 30 billion no go do you. That time when you mugger no go see you. And if I start to distress you, let me know because I know want to vex you. But I'm lying, now only you will know you. The same time you go do anything in favor you. I don't want to go. So make we do the thing, yeah. Make we do the live show. I love my you too. So just believe in your life and do the thing, yeah, live show. If body they hurt you, drink water. Don't come, they form like the butter. Because I know you know, say I know you. I know be every dressing go fit you. Make you know make me mad, attentiveness for my mother. I know fit holla, I know fit shout. I know I make that me and you them talk about. And if I tell you say I like you, I beg you no let Shakara come they kill you. That time 30 billion no go do you. That time make you mugger no go see you. And if I start to distress you, let me know because I know want to vex you. But I'm lying, now only you will know you. The same time you go do anything in favor you. I love my so make we do the thing, yeah. Make we do the live show. I love my too. So just believe in your life and do the thing, yeah, live show. I love my so make we do the thing, yeah. Make we do the live show. cry for your mother, make you know they do pass you. Cause I go do my own, you go do your own. Anything where we bend, my bone, we go bone. Cause life is too short for debating. Devil's too pure for you now waiting. Oh yeah, along my year, go. So make we do the thing, yeah, make we do the light show. Oh yeah, along my year to go. So just believe in your life and do the thing, yeah, light show. Light show.
Final day, so me say get the pango, get the pango, get the Pokemon, get the pango, the pango, the pango. See that day where we get shy, that day where we get shy. See that day where we get mania, that day where we get mania. Since 1960, yeah. That day where we get shy. Since 1930, no. That day where we get shy. We dey do skeleton. You dey do your body skeleton. You dey do We dey do skeleton. Don't break your money on your body, bunny. Baby girl Pulani, you dey wine follow me. So tell me she met a Kulani, but the bar show they do, you they do Kulani. I say water, dirty pussy carter. Baby girl, you know, say, that's a body bad. If you want to do, then we got the party. Baby girl, you know, you can never be a part of me. We they do skeleton. You they do your body skeleton. You they do You they what? You they do skeleton. Baby, don't you know you're killing me, oh baby. Oh no, baby, don't you know you're killing me, oh baby. See that day where we dey shy, that day where we dey shy. See that day where we dey mania, that day where we dey mania. Since 1960, yeah. That day where we dey shy. Since 1930, no. That day where we dey shy. We dey do skeleton. You dey do your body skeleton. You dey do water, dirty pussy carter. Baby girl, you know, say, that's a body bad. If you want to do, then we got the party. Baby girl, you know, we can never be a part of this. Water, dirty pussy carter. Baby girl, you know, that's a body bad. If I want to do, then we got the party. Baby girl, you know, we can never be a part of this. Now, get the party. You hear me? Big smoke, sir. You hear me? You hear me, yo? More music at ninjaloaded.com.
no. Sound the gun, yeah. One more time for the bass. Alright, yeah. Now what?
Productions.
Help me spread this message like Globacom. Make nobody come here, they come the phone. I know say no be everybody follow come. I know be everybody be silicon. Make them no come they wash you. I make you do exactly what you want to. Make you no say I don't tell you. Make you know the devil come to use you. But if I tell you say I love you, I beg you no go turn me to your move. That time 30 billion no go do you. That time what you more no go see you. And if I start to distress you, let me know because I know want to vex you. But I'm lying, now only you I know you. The same time you go do anything in favor you. I love my go. So make we do the thing, make we do the live show. I love my too. So just believe in your life and do the thing, live show. If body they hurt you, drink water.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a nice time. I want you to look at the screen. You have a very important information there. And this is key because I've been hearing a lot of people making comments about questions that are yet to be attended to. Please, I plead with you, you could use, Peter, can we have that thing on the screen, please? Yes. Good, yes. I want you please to use any of this channel to present your questions. We will be glad to have those questions and as well get back responses to you. Please, any form of query, question, whatever you need clarity on, to do with business development, marketing, strategic planning, integration of concept, whatever it is, please send it here. We will get back to you. Thank you very much. I also wish to plead with us that in the next 5 minutes, I have to extend 5 minutes again, we will start the next session. In the next 5 minutes, we will start the next session. So do enjoy your lunch. Thank you very much.
My name is Oshobo Benjamin Obisri.
I am the CEO of Farming Agri Service Nigeria. I studied economics in Federal University December. You are welcome to my community, Nasara Awa in Bichi local government, Kano State. So in farming, what I do is I do commodity trade such as cereals and sorghums and all that, agricultural commodity to be precise. So we have customers from Lagos, customers from Delta State and Onitsha that have make purchase from us. We also serve, I also serve as an aggregator for companies that want tomato, a large quantity, also off-takers that want some crops, tomato, onion, maize for making of cornflakes and the others in large quantity. Most companies don't have access to farmers, but farming, we have access to farmers. We have network of farmers all over Kano State. For me to really begin as a company, it began with the project that is the Young African Work IIT project, where we were told about the importance of having a business registered. There was a section that talked about life skill and all that. The person that came motivated us so much, setting goals and all that. So they talk so much about opportunities that come, and the only way you can harness them is by having a registered business. So this really make me to have a second thought. Since the very first day that I attended lecture, I was inspired that I have to start up a company and make this business to be very formal, as we can see now. The way we go about it is we kind of crowdfund. Okay, we crowdfund and we come together, investors bring out their fund. When during the harvest time, when these things are cheap, we get them and then we sell when the prices have appreciated. We tested it with little capital and we lived up to expectation. And we discovered that if he was faithful in that which was small, it will not be a problem investing bigger funds into his business. So when he told us he has come up with...
I can see a lot of movements that have nothing to do with lunch. If you know you are standing and there is nothing related to lunch in your standing, kindly sit down, please. Yes, thank you, guys. Can we sit? Thank you for complying. Ushers, can you tell those outside to come in? Let us reconvene. Let's get everyone inside the hall, please. We have time constraint and we need to redeem that immediately. So I need all of us to cooperate to get that done. And I think the first thing to do is to be seated. Have you eaten lunch? Very good. So thank you very much for the attention you've given us from morning hours to this time. I know it's an investment of time and you will not regret such an investment. Please silence. If you are eating, I guess you don't talk with the plate. That's one. Secondly, if you are seated, I plead with you to maintain silence, please. Yeah, we are going to have a lot of time to talk, a lot of time to integrate, and to do a lot of interaction within ourselves. But for now, I want us to maintain absolute concentration. Yeah, for those looking at me very well, thank you very much for that. Yes. All right. So I thank you all for cooperating with us. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for the attention you are busy investing for this event. We are going further, and I bet you the more forward we move, the more interesting it becomes. We are going to be having a plenary session this time around, and what we will be discussing will be youth and access to market challenges. We want to see the prospect, we want to see viable markets and enabling environment. Okay? A lot of young men have been meeting me during the break to talk about market linkages. Now, guys, this is your opportunity. And to lead us in this very interesting session, I'll be craving your indulgence to make welcome, help me to receive Miss Tolulope Aina upstage. With a resounding applause, help me to receive Miss Tolulope Aina. I think you are not clapping for the plates in your front, right? Now you put your hands together for Miss Tolulope Aina. And I want to announce to you that this project is 70% women, and we are having a very successful woman come to our midst tonight, and you are not clapping accordingly. So I'll still crave your indulgence to put your hands together for Miss Tolulope Aina. So I want to tell you a little about her. She brings a wealth of expertise in community development, having worked with young professionals across 23 African countries. She is passionate about driving transformative change in Africa, particularly in the field of agriculture, through sustainable projects for youth, women, and I know we are all youth and we have women. So I think you should be excited and put your hands together for that. She also looks at digital education, advocacy, and various project-based methodology to help fulfill the mandate of the UN SDGs. She is an agricultural enthusiast, an entrepreneur, agribusiness consultant, an advocacy champion, who in Nigeria has launched, implemented, and supervised diverse agricultural projects among many. You know, she has focused on crop production, she has focused on livestock, she has focused on various value chains. I put it to you that Ms. Tolulope is the founder of Tolulope Foods and Farms, a social enterprise and a nutritional-based company focused on curbing the malnutrition challenges faced in Nigeria and Africa. She has achieved that by proffering various suggestions, various interventions, and various actions within that value chain. She is also the project lead at AgroLearn, a digital agricultural education platform charged with the mandate to bridge the skill set gap of enthusiasts and professionals in the field of agriculture. So one more time, I want you to put your hands together for Ms. Tolulope Aina. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. Thank you, IITA, for the opportunity also to moderate this very important discussion on youth and access to market challenges, prospects, viable markets, and enabling environments. A bit of background to this panel discussion. The world has become a global village, especially with the aid of technology. Far is brought near in Africa. We recently have the African Continental Free Trade Agreement signed by African states. In West Africa, we have the free movement of goods and services, which has been in existence for some time now. Coming home to Nigeria, we are all aware of the volume of trade between the northern and southern region of the country. However, despite the experts stating all the huge market potentials and deficits. Youth and MSMEs are finding it difficult to penetrate the market. And why is this so? This panel discussion will focus on addressing the aforementioned challenges. And join me as I introduce our panelists in no particular order. Saeed Adams. Saeed is a farmer, agripreneur, agribusiness coach, trainer, social entrepreneur, and sustainability enthusiast. He is the CEO of Eweko Integrated Services, Chairman, Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria, Lagos chapter, and a master trainer at IFOAM International. Saeed is a graduate mathematics from all the degree from the Obafemi Awolowo University in mathematics and an agribusiness MBA from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Saeed has worked as an ICT specialist across the telecoms industry for over 12 years before venturing into agriculture and agribusiness space. Progressive, reliable, innovative ICT specialist with passion for inclusive agribusiness and sustainability. Experience acquired over the years in ICT and management roles, he applies in delivering top-notch quality services and solutions in agribusiness. Join me once again in welcoming Mr. Saeed Adams. You can have your seat. Can we also have Oluwafunto Olashemo, the Vice President, Financial Markets, AFEX. Please clap for our panelists. Oluwafunto is a market development expert with over 9 years work experience in delivering financial service solutions to medium and large enterprises. Adept at identifying strategic measures to strengthen operational performance, Oluwafunto has a strong reputation and effectively managing multiple client engagements through all phases of product development, research, strategic planning, campaign testing, and post-go live. Oluwafunto is the current Vice President Financial Markets at AFEX, where she leads the engagement with capital market operation and financial institutions to unlock funding for smallholder farmers and create a portfolio product backed by commodities as an alternative asset class for investors. Recently, she was involved in raising over ₦1 billion in funds that will provide 25,000 smallholder farmers quality input for the 2020 plus planting season. Join me in welcoming an extraordinary woman. You know, I'm an advocate for women, so. Olawale Ojo. Olawale Ojo, advisor and former country rep at YPAD. Olawale is an experienced marketing communication expert. His work spans across multiple marketing roles in large agricultural input companies, driving strategic and operational activities focused on demand generation and market development. He served as Nigeria country representative of young professionals in agricultural development between 2013 and 2019, and is currently on our advisory board. With a background in agricultural engineering, an MBA in agribusiness, and a marketing certification from the Chartered Institute of Marketing, UK, Olawale's experience spanned value chains such as rice, maize, cotton, and vegetables. A round of applause for Olawale. Oke Tijini Sejiro Michael. Please, can we have, okay. Oke Tojini comes around as a seasoned and accomplished consultant in agriculture and other allied matters with verifiable track records of numerous feats. He is the incumbent national PRO of CAFAN and chairman of the Lagos State Catfish and Allied Fish Farmers Association of Nigeria, Badagry Zonal Chapter, covering Badagry and Ojo local government areas since 2016 till date. He is also a member of various agri-clubs, some of which are LASU Bid Committee on African Union Center of Excellence in Fisheries and Aquaculture, Badagry Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Fisheries Society of Nigeria, World Aquaculture Society African Chapter, Tilapia Agricultural Development Association of Nigeria. He was also awarded Best Fish Farmer in Lagos State by the Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture for the year 2020. We also have here ably represented by Fela Oguntoye, the General Manager of Natnundo Food, Mayowa Oyekon. Mayowa Oyekon is the head Natnupreneur Outgrower Management, Natnundo Foods. He is the team lead of the biggest broiler outgrower firm in Nigeria, with vast experience within broiler value chain, skilled in project management, team leadership, strategic planning within our poultry value chain, and focusing on reactivating many abandoned pen houses, encouraging farmers into production with guaranteed offtake market and free technical services with profitability as the major goal. Join me in welcoming Mr. Mayowa. I welcome you all, our esteemed panelists, once again. And dear participants, I'd like to crave our indulgence that we write down our questions, and please direct that to, you get someone that would attend to you with your questions. I welcome you once again, our panelists. And the topic of discussion before us is on youth and access to market challenges, prospects, viable markets, and enabling environments. So yes, I can see that we have a wide spectrum of experts who have experience with production and finance, financial access to markets on this very important panel. So in 2 minutes, I would like each of you to just give your own perspective on what are the major challenges young people face with access to markets. I will start with you, Mr. Said.
Thank you very much. Well, to start with, marketing entails you understanding what your customer wants. And having understood that, you now begin to work towards how to fulfill those needs. Around market access, it usually boils down to about 4 or 5 things: the quantity, the quality, the price, consistency, and also terms and conditions as well. Oftentimes, I find youth struggling with consistency. That I supply today, well, luckily, maybe the next 2, 3 supplies that I'm supposed to make as an individual, I struggle with it because I don't have that framework that allows me to consistently produce. Of course, which is tied to things like finance, risk management, but generally how your business is structured to consistently provide such quantity and consistency that the supplier wants. There's also the issue of quality as well. Oftentimes, we feel we know what the market wants, and we just dole out what we consider as standards. The market, as organized as it may appear, also have standards. And it is those standards that actually define what you get in terms of pricing as well. So I find a lot of times youth struggling to achieve some of these issues. I don't want to buy it in too much time. So I think I can give the mic to...
Thank you very much. So he set the ball rolling, and I actually feel a bit awkward that I'm the only lady up here, but we'll try and make it work. So I'll try to look at access to market from a slightly different angle, right? Access to market is just one of the challenges that farmers or agri-businesses face in Nigeria, but it is an offshoot of a number of other things. If you look at the landscape of agriculture generally, whether it's smallhold or on the larger scale, one key challenge that we face is lack of information, right? Agriculture generally, you would typically see that in certain parts of the country, they call them the key producing states. And then you also have the key consuming states, right? How easy can these two ends of the spectrum access information available? Does the people in the key producing states know the quantity or the consumption demand of the key consuming states, right? Do they know the type of, take for instance, maize? You have lots of maize farmers, right? But maize can do so many things. How do you determine the type or the species of maize that is good for maybe a natundo to use for their feed production? So that's information asymmetry and lack of information. Also in the quality access to market for agripreneurs. Thank you.
Fantastic. So, Mr. Olawa, you have your mic, so everyone has... Yes. Okay, please, can you just in 2 minutes?
Okay, so just jumping in from where she stopped in terms of lack of knowledge. And I also want to link that to the challenge of lack of information about the markets. And when I talk about the markets, I'm talking about what is it that the consumer wants? What type of products do they want? Where can they be found? Oftentimes, young people just think that, oh, I'm producing this, everybody wants that thing that I'm producing. It's important that they also segment their customers to as the minimum they can do that. It's even goes as far as what are the age group of people that will be able to take up my product. And this will help them to be able to assess the right type of customers, to tweak their products to the right fit as they deem fit. Another issue is about high cost of transportation. So if you are in production and you have your farm in some rural communities, then you incur quite a lot of costs to bring out your product to where it is needed. The other challenge I would like to highlight is the lack of access to regional markets. Many of our young people have the potential to produce products that are accepted across the region. So you could sell your product to Ghana, you could sell it to Sierra Leone, you could sell it to the French-speaking West African countries. But that access, understanding what the regulations is there, understanding what are the custom requirements, understanding what are the standard organization requirements in those countries, to enable you to access those countries, those information are missing, and that's also a challenge for them.
Fantastic, and thank you very much for that input. Let's quickly go on to Mr. Oketugini.
Good evening. First and foremost, you murdered my name. My name is Sejiro Oketogino. Okay.
Apologies.
I thought you were trying to call a Chinese man upstage. Interestingly, the agricultural sector has a wide space of opportunity for us to assess or to explore. Most of us, we've got skilled up now. We've gotten the training. What do we have to offer? What do we have to sell? We have the challenges, we have the problems of what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. that is where our uniqueness needs to come to play.
Thank you very much.
That is where our uniqueness needs to come to play. I can be a pepper seller.
Okay.
My presentation is very, very important. How do I package? How do I present my pepper? These are some of the things. I'm in the aquaculture space, for instance, now. And going through the exhibition stand, I saw same catfish with different packaging, almost the same presentation. But that is not the only kind of fish that is being farmed in the country. But unfortunately, most of us, maybe we don't have enough access to information to know that beyond the catfish, there are several other species of fish that are farmed and that can be sold. That is number one. Then number two, the catfish too comes in different forms. There are different derivatives from the catfish. But all I'm saying at the exhibition stand is the conventional folded catfish. Whereas there are several products that can come out of that catfish. So what I'm trying to say is that now I think we have the challenge of access to innovative ideas. So we just need to improve our innovation or innovative ideas. Then finally, adding to it, we know there are latent challenges and there are obvious challenges. We don't need to deceive ourselves. Doing business in this part of the world is not easy. Government policies is one big stumbling block there. Power generation is one big stumbling block there. Our institutions our curriculum still needs to be reviewed, because I can tell you of a truth that most of the agricultural graduates we produce from this country end up looking for greener pastures in other endeavors, not what they've studied.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Michael.
you.
Sorry that I have to come in there because I'm really conscious of our time. But then the message and your challenges and that you've identified are duly noted. And I'm also sure that one of IITA's core focus is actually to also help develop, agripreneurs that are innovative. So I hope I'm correct. Yes. So please, let's go over to you.
Well, just like what they have said earlier, we have many challenges that has been facing us, everyone here, in terms of marketing. We've talked about the transportation, being innovative. The most important thing is, for us, we have the same set of things we are producing. We have to be innovative and think outside the box by studying the environment in which we are producing. We have to exploit the opportunity in that environment. Let's take a very good example. You can imagine somebody that wants a market and was raising pig in the north. So he will not get anything good from that. So you have to study your environment majorly, and at the same time, make sure your pricing are very competitive in everything you do. With that, you can compete with anybody and you won't have any problem for markets.
Thank you very much for that. A lot of issues and challenges have been raised around consistency in providing quality and quality requirements, lack of information on market demand, variety of plants to produce, consumer wants, source of input, need to segment the market, logistics challenge, lack of access to regional markets, packaging and presentation, and challenges with innovative ideas. It's an need to think out of the box. Governments and the requisite institutions also have their parts to play. Without further ado, I would just like to quickly touch base, and this would not follow the regular pattern. I would just randomly call on few speakers so that we can capture all the aspects of this panel discussion. In your own opinion, Mr. Olawale Ojo, what are the key things that you think youth need to do to access viable markets?
For youth to access viable markets, it starts with a need assessment. You need to assess, to understudy your environment, your target market, to know what is already available in that market? What am I going to be offering that market that is different, that is innovative, or that will remove a pain point from the consumers? You can then tailor or shape your products or services to fit that gap that you have identified. It's also important that you are able to forecast, as it were, what the needs of your customers are. So it wouldn't make any sense if you have a market that requires, say for example, 5,000 kg of fishes, whether processed or fresh fish, and then you go ahead and produce 50,000. And then after you have sold the 5,000, you begin to say there is no market. So you have to be able to understand and capture what the market size is, who are already playing in that market, and what share of it can you grab. Another point that is important in helping young people to have access to markets is around branding. You need to be able to, in simple terms, make your products attractive and memorable, both in quality and in physical appearance, such that when a customer purchases your products, he has an indelible mark in his mind that, yes, I enjoyed this product and I want to go back and have it again. A third point I would like to mention is around partnerships. You need to identify what your core business is. Are you selling a product or are you distributing? We have seen many young people want to produce, they want to process, they want to have motorbikes to deliver products, they want to be the one to be the financial advisors, the accountants, just one person or one set of team. So partnership would help. If you are producing a product and you need to distribute, why don't you have a partnership with a logistic company who understands your terms and conditions, who understands the kind of products you are marketing or you need to get delivered, and provide you that service? You take off that burden off yourself and focus on the core of your business. So this partnership will really go a long way to help to speed up that access to markets.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olawale. I'd like to quickly come to you, Mayowa. Since your organization is into the poultry space, and aside from capacity development, you also do an outgrower scheme. What are the key things that you need to you feel from your own perspective and your field experience that youth need to do to be able to access viable markets?
Well, first and foremost, what we wanted to venture into is not something new. We have to look and check as many people that are doing the same thing we have been doing before. After doing this, you have to study all their processes. When you study all their processes, how they do something, what they do to manage a lot of things, then you sit down on your own and look at what you can add to that as a service or as a value. When you are doing that, with that, people have no option than to patronize, and you have your market immediately. Now, for all these market things we are talking about, innovation, just like I've said, is very important. You need somebody to guide you, you need data, and you need to be consistent, just like he has said earlier. Most of us, even if you are taking Coca-Cola now, if they are tying your eyes with covering it up and they give you Biggie, you will understand quite well that I'm not taking Coca-Cola. So for whatever you are going to do, you have to have a difference. There will be a particular business model a particular business is doing before. What you need to do is to find a lean canvas to it. Look at the challenges people are facing with this type of thing you are about to produce. Source for the right thing, source for the right solution for them, so that with that, they can move from whatever they are doing, and you share with the same market that person that has been in that space before has been doing. Put extra effort in the services you are doing. We have DHL and codes from other times. When you want to send some things at times, it takes 2 days, 3 days. But now when you get to another delivery service, it's more faster, with more communication, even calling you and telling you where your goods are. Whereas you have to call DHL to actually, you have to track DHL to actually know where these things are. So for anything we are going to do, let's know that we are not new in this. We add value to it so that people can come and you gain traction.
Thank you very much. Also, we would just like to also understand that for young people, it might be quite difficult to access some level of market because of scale. While before this panel discussion, I engaged Mr. Said, and he gave me a quote which was very interesting to me, and I told him I was going to say it on this panel discussion. And he said, in order to aggregate, you need to coordinate. Now, my question in this to you, Mr. Said, is since youth might not be able to deliver that value, what's the importance and what is the role of group formation towards accessing better markets?
All right, thank you very much. That's actually the key. If I can remember, you were talking about AFTA, talking about that AFCTA, talking about export market. As an individual, I can beat my chest. You can't supply those markets consistently as an individual. Now, group formation is very important because it gives you leverage. You are able to work as a team. Where you are deficient, you work with people that have strength in those areas. And the agri space has created, naturally, diversity. In the crop sector, you have the fruits and veg, where I majorly focus on. And you have tomatoes, you have sweet corn, you have all types of these different crops that are grown and are needed in the market. You can't grow everything, but your market requires you to have maybe regular supplies of pepper and regular supplies of onion and regular supplies of tomatoes. Usually those three goes together when you're talking about your soup. So how do you leverage on yourselves to be able to provide that? Unfortunately, in this part of the climb, there's a lot of distrust amongst us. I won't lie about that. But in that as well, you now begin to see a gap, a need to close these issues of distrust. Interest oftentimes are diverse. I have my interest, you have yours. How do we marry all of these things together? It is possible. And it is also an art. Leadership in group formation is critical. So if you have one or two persons within your group that has this kind of, character or leadership skills that can help all of you. So come together, form a cooperative, form a group, formal or informal, and see how best you can harness all of these things. For me, I work with groups of farmers within the Ekpe axis. And what we do, they see markets, they can't access because of the volume. They come to me as a business. I reach out to the market, the off-taker, understand their quantity, their quality, consistency, and things like that, and then begin to systematically work with these groups of farmers right from the market to a point where we now begin to plan production and also allocate quota. Okay, you grow this because we know you are very good in this product, and this is the quota that we are going to give to you. Of course, it follows a lot of monitoring and evaluation, which I said again in itself is a business. So if you begin to look into all of this kind of things, you see that once the coordination is done properly, you'll be able to talk about quantity, quality, and you have the power to negotiate a better price because you are working as a group as compared to when you are individuals. So this also is an opportunity that I want you to begin to tap into.
Sorry, I have to come in there. It's also interesting to note that he's actually internationally trained on this said issue. So I know that if I give you the space, you can spend the whole day to actually really talk about this issue. But we're very, very, very okay. Just to buttress
buttress what he has said, right? Group formation is very, very critical, not just for access to markets, but also access to financing and other infrastructure that would help you in your value chain.
I'm actually going to come back to that, but
okay.
I would like
I want
to
to give an example then.
Okay, good.
So
Okay,
an example is the Poultry Association of Nigeria, for instance. If you're in the poultry space, they have regional association. I know they have one in Penok in Ogun State. Find and associate yourself with them. They will connect you to the market. Where there are government policies or incentives available, they will connect you with it. You can leverage on the training and facility for standardization, and then you're able to compete better in the market. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. So I would like to come to you, Mr. I don't want to murder your name again. We talk about all these things, but we also know that there's the role of key stakeholders in ensuring that an enabling environment is made available for people. What do you think is the role of, governments, institutions, and organizations in ensuring that youth have access to markets?
Okay, thank you very much. Like my other colleagues have said, first and foremost, you need to understand that agriculture or farming is not what you do in isolation. The market is there, but because most farmers are not having enough access to information, they are doing their business in isolation. They are not they don't belong to any group. They don't belong to any trade union. They tend to produce what the market doesn't really want most times.
No, so this question is actually focused on the role of stakeholders in ensuring that an enabling environment is created. What exactly is it that they are doing that they are not doing right?
Okay.
And what are the things they need to do in order for youth to have access to a better enabling market environment?
Okay. I think that's like a national solution that should be preferred. First and foremost, we need a kind of rebranding for agriculture generally as a nation. Farmers should be better rewarded. Number one, farmers should be given the kind of ease of doing business, because one of the major challenges is that, for instance, when you look at the exchange rates, for instance, now, is not helping the cost of agricultural inputs. It is not an individual that will solve such challenge, such problem. So there should be a form of subsidy for agricultural inputs. There should be policies that will help the growth of agriculture, like buyback policies, that as it's done in other countries. Like when farmers produce now, they shouldn't be bugged with. I was in the north about 3 weeks ago, and I saw the vast land they use in producing crops, and I was wondering that who buys all these things from them, and if such kind of product is produced in this part in the southwest, and the market is up north, and we have security challenge, how do you sell to that market as an individual? You are not the one that will provide security for yourself. Power is a challenge. If you look at what farmers or most people expend on power generation, it's killing a lot of businesses. So I think government policies should really help farmers to do business comfortably. The other policy that I want to look at is access to funding. Most of the funding we have in this part of the world, to be candid, it's not easily accessible to young farmers. We heard what was said here. This has been voted. How many of the farmers here have access to such kind of funds? Then finally, too, our institutions. I want maybe what IIT is doing to be extended to some of our higher institutions, to tertiary institutions, because most of the agric students, when they graduate, when they come out of school, they are nowhere relevant to what the industry wants. So such practical exposure from the schools too would really help, and research too. We need research to be improved upon. So that would definitely help us create the kind of market that we need.
Thank you very much. Because of our time, I'll be asking my very last question. But for participants that have questions, we'll be giving room for 3 questions. Please just come to the front here. As we wrap up, we just have slot for 3 people to ask questions, please. And my last question would be coming to you from AFEX. What are the non-banking financial opportunities available to youth in the agric value chain?
Okay, thank you very much. But before I answer that question, just one thing to what he said. Unfortunately, I don't believe that government can solve a lot of our problems. I do believe that we can solve more than 60 to 70% of our problem. We have key processors in the industry that would typically require some of the farm produce as raw materials to their feeds. A number of them engage in what we call backward integration with the farmers. But there is no conscious effort to say this backward integration that I'm doing with farmers, 30% must be youth or 20% must be female. And a lot of times, if you do not intentionally go and say and allocate to say my backward integration, I am focusing, because again, look at the population of the youth in Africa, about 370 million, 60% are youth. Youth are more resilient, health-wise, and the rest of them. If you have to be deliberate about some of these deployment of policies and the rest of them to say that if I am doing backward integration, I am doing a percentage entirely for the youth, so as to encourage them. And because it's a backward integration, the guaranteed offtake is there, and then the other value chain everything just pretty much fall into place like a domino effect. Then now to the financing aspect. Yes, he mentioned that a lot of times access to financing is, a lot of banks will tell you you can borrow for Agri. We have Agri desk and the rest of them, but it's more like in papers. No, apologies to bankers, right? And someone had talked about innovation. At AFEX, one of the things that we strongly believe is that conventional financing will not solve the agri funding need in the country. And so how do we then innovate to say either you have a farm or you have produce of a farm that is an asset. How can we convert that produce of your farm into collateral that you can then leverage on as security to unlock funding to expand your business? So we have different things like input financing, for instance. You have 3 hectares of farmland, and that farmland can, by the time you do your economics of production, you know how much you can get from it. We could provide you with quality input, fertilizers, and the rest of them, instead of giving you cash. And then you're repaying back your loan from the produce of your farm. The good thing is that, again, just as I mentioned, guarantees you offtake and a fair value. Because, again, you're not just selling to any middleman in the market that will just dictate to you. You know what the prices are on international markets, right? And then you're getting fair value. So if you produce 1,000 metric tons, you're basically saying what is the market price of 1,000 metric tons. And because it is an exchange, you're getting the value of 1,000 metric tons. And then you can easily expand. It also helps you with being able to project what you need to produce for the following year. There's also the option of forward contracts. Again, you have producers that have, like in Natundo, for instance, that's Amobin, very good clients of ours, by the way. So they already have projection to say, I am going to produce, my feed mill has 10,000 metric tons, which implies that on a month-to-month basis, there's a number of maize, soybean, or soy meal that needs to come. Can I sign a forward contract with a potential maybe producers and say in January you will supply me 5,000 metric tons? And the advantage of a forward contract is that you get an initial mobilization to go and kick off that production process. And then a price is already locked in. So even if the market goes against you in the price, you already locked your price anyways. You already know what your profitability at the end of the season will be. So there are quite a number of them. There is also the repo repurchase transaction in which you want to sell for export. You want to aggregate 500 metric tons of cocoa, but you don't have all the money. You can buy 50 metric tons, bring it in, it gets refinanced. You go, and then until you aggregate up to 500, and then you export. So there are actually very non-conventional ways that you can get your agribusiness, your production business, your export business financed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for our panelists. You would agree with me that they all bring diverse views to this, and at the same time, they have proven expertise across different niches. And you also see that they have that practical approach towards responding to these questions. I want a round of applause for our panelists once again. I'm sure we enjoyed this session, and quickly we'd like to give room for questions from our participants. Please keep it brief.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Olumide Oludiran Samuel. I have a question. In a situation whereby, I don't know, anybody can address this issue. In a situation whereby you are starting, startup, and you have like spices, coconut oil, gari, packaging, and plantain chips like that, and you want to register with NAFDAC. NAFDAC is demanding, is requesting for, you need to pay for each product. You have to have a NAFDAC number for it. And under the same company, is it not possible that NAFDAC can come up with one registration number for this product? I don't know how you are going to help us to address that issue. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Olawale, you can.
This is not exactly an access to market question, but off my head, one way to go about this is also part of what we are talking about. These are regulatory issues. If it is becoming a pain as a business owner, then you need to find a way to communicate that pain to these regulators. And that's why we are saying that apart from just being a business owner, you need to be part of an organization or a network of professionals who have that power to speak to these regulators on your behalf. Secondly is that I know that NAFDAC has tried to lean up on some of their requirements for SMEs. You might want to look into what are some of the leverages that you can inch on to be able to achieve this. But then, the products you have also mentioned are also all diverse. Gari, plantain, coconut oil, they all have different standardization requirements. And so it might be a bit tricky to say you are having one NAFDAC number because it is coming from your organization.
Just to add to that, right? You just mentioned the standardization. And this is food that we are talking about, right? So there's no way you would ask them to compromise because the NAFDAC number they are giving it just goes beyond a number. You would have met some minimum requirement, production, health standards, and the rest of them. And my advice, again, this has nothing really to do with the regulation, just from a business perspective. As an SME, you want to have concerted efforts. As an SME, you're having 6 products to push to the market. Do you have the marketing power to even push all the products at the same time? Why don't you concentrate on 1 or 2, get that NAFDAC registration, get it known in the market, such that it becomes even a stepping stone for your other products to come into the market and
Thank you very much. Can we have the second question?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abagwan Ayobami. So my question goes to us, and it's specifically for every stakeholder here. If we would all look forward, what we can see is innovative youth in agriculture. Ever since when I have been seated there, all what I keep on hearing is business, 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 business. Is it that there are no spaces for research-based work? Let's take, for instance, now, to carry out a research based on the comparative traits in Heterobranchus bidosalis and Clarias garipinos, which is the common African catfish. Sorry, I just have to use this term. And let's take, for instance, I hit a very huge breakthrough. If I walk up to IIT and tell them, okay, I need funds to take up my research, would they be readily available to drop funds for me? And it also applies to stakeholders, agribodies, and so on and so forth. So that's my question.
So I actually also think that this question should be directed to IITA and not this panel, because this panel is actually addressing youth access to markets. But let's give room for.
So again,
our
this
panelists.
is not our question, but we'll try to do justice to it. My own, and I feel your pain, honestly. People don't associate with you until you hit that breakthrough. Unfortunately, it is what it is in this part of the world. What I would say is you might not, I don't think you should wait for someone to say, here is a fund for research. What you're trying to do your preliminary research to what aspect of the value chain is this going to impact? Who are the players in this value chain, and what does it mean to their business? If it is very, very significant to their business, I'm sure there's this 6 degree of connection. We are just six contacts away from the person we really need to be. So it goes beyond just saying, oh, no fund for research. Your research, what value chain does it impact? What is the significance, and who are the players in that value chain? What is the significance to their business? Nobody would say that a research will improve my profitability and I will not listen to them.
So sorry to cut you on that. We would like to extend this response to Aline. She's the executive manager of the iYouth project. She would like to respond to this question raised.
Thank you so much, dear. And wonderful discussion going on. I'm getting all worked up. So just to respond to the research question, I want you to understand that business is also research. Market research is a research business. Just gonna stand up so that if need be, I can be heard. Market research is a research business, and it's a big component. Actually, there's a lot of employers that are looking for innovative ways to start in or to tap into a different. There are a lot of businesses that are successful, but they are dying. Others are successful, but they're stagnating. They're not moving anywhere. They're looking for somebody to bring in a new idea. And you could be a consultant as a business owner. You could give big ideas to this consultant. Let me give you a quick example. IITA, when they started the Youth in Agriculture unit, they didn't have what we are doing today. It took a lot of people, young people, which I am very grateful for, to come to the idea of saying this is a research institute, but we need to move to training. We need to move to more practical aspect of things. These young people pushed without any funding to where they are today. Now today they're mobilizing funding, and they're bringing the funding to all of you, the knowledge to all of you, you know. So we are saying we are offering training, we are offering networks, we are offering market linkages. What's your role? Your role is to find what's the loophole, what is the gap into the market. Come back to us and say, I found this gap, but I'm not going through because I don't have any contacts there. And we will facilitate that contact because we are an institution that can do that. So I think we need to be innovative in the ways in which we are looking into this business. You know, for the creative industry, somebody needs to be making marketing and advertisement for all these products that we are talking about. And that's a market the youth are best able to do. I was telling colleagues about the Endomi advertisement. All of you watch it on TV. Do you link that to agriculture? But Endomi is spaghetti. And tomato that is eaten with spaghetti is an agricultural product. Any tomato farmers in the house? Right. So, you know, there are so many business opportunities, colleagues. You just don't think of what is already successful. Take a leap of faith. Believe in yourself enough to break something else through. Be the first person to start. And you always have to remember, we are here with you. We're going to take you through that process until you reach the end. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for Aline. Thank you very much. Can we have the third question?
Good afternoon. My name is Arolu Asheun. I would like to direct my questions to people here. I would like to ask, because I love being rugged in my marketing. And as far as I've gone, I see that there's a limit to where my products can get to without NAFDAC number. Because the people have marketed my product to, my aunties, uncles, friends, and those people who they connected me to said they can buy it from me, but they cannot put it on their mall, their shopping mall, because of the NAFDAC number. So I'm not getting the access to loan now, and I'm not getting any fund. But with the little I have and I can do, how can I break forth from that limitation of you cannot do past this level if you don't have the NAFDAC number? And to be practical, I think for a startup, without getting any access to loan or getting funds from anybody, there is nobody that can afford that NAFDAC number for now, if I'm to be practical with it. So how can I break forth from that limit? Thank you.
I will come to you, Michael.
Well, we are youths. We have to start little. Even a lot of companies you are seeing outside there, they have some brand that you are not aware with. And people are getting it. The only thing we need to work more on is our door-to-door marketing. When you do your door-to-door marketing and you are able to explain and justify the quality of your products and how it is to other products, people will definitely patronize you. So have it at the back of your mind. For people who don't allow it on their shelf, they know the implication, and that is why they don't allow it. But if we put more efforts, our digital marketing and our door-to-door marketing, then we will get the traction that we want. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if any of our panelists has something to add to that.
Really, there are some things we shouldn't allow disturb us from moving as youth. There are some things that are not necessary now. The NAFDAC registration is important, but not compulsory to take your business to the next level. As you go on, like I said, if you do your door-to-door marketing, you can still, if I ask most of the young people talking about NAFDAC registration or export restriction, they can't even produce to meet up with such demand yet. And the other thing I'll quickly add to this is that let's try and form alliance. Let's try and form partnership. It makes a lot of things easy for us as young people. Some people have access to fund, but they don't have the land. Some people have the experience, while some people have the passion. And for most of us, you need to see, like the 5 of us on this panel seat, for instance, we have our different strengths. If we marry together, we become stronger as one. Maybe he's from Ikorodu and he has access to vast land. And I have this crazy idea of taking my business out of the shores of this country. Now I need land. And I have the experience. He has the land. She has the finance. He has the marketing contact. If we come together, I think we can be strong. So that's the kind of opportunity I think all of us here from this second cohort and the first cohort, let's try and marry all of our ideas and our skills together. Then we can begin to do wonders in the agri space. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that comment. Sorry we won't be able to take further responses. I would like to wrap up this panel discussion to actually say that as young persons, we need to prioritize our stage, right? And we don't need to bite more than we can chew. The issue of markets, the point is, have you even exhausted the local and traditional markets available before you are even moving to another scale? Let us also prioritize, the space in the value chain that we want to operate. You cannot do it all. Prioritize. And even if you want to, get experience, do that through partnership. with other people that have as core of their business a specific aspect of that value chain. And that way, with group formation, we'll be able to access better markets. We'll also be able to move forward in our business. Quality is key to whatever it is that you are doing, and then quality will give you the best form of access to market, which is word of mouth. So join me once again in celebrating our wonderful panelists. And I would like to take a group photograph before we go off the stage. Thank you very much.
The guy from Chambers of Commerce wants to address something very important. Maybe just give him a minute. I don't know if that's fine. Please.
Okay, so I've been duly informed that the representative from the Chamber of Commerce would have 1 or 2 minutes to address.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to respond to the issue of the NAFDAC. Like I said, we have an advocacy unit in the Chambers of Commerce. And as a matter of fact, we are on the board of NAFDAC, on the board of SON. So when you have challenges, like this, let us know. We could get you discounts, subsidies, so that you can be able to get this NAFDAC approval. We are not going to subvert the system, but you must follow the system, okay? But we can make it easier for you. We've done that before. So please aggregate yourself. It's better to have a group of people have issues with NAFDAC and we address them rather than going one by one. I have done that before and we can still do it again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Apparently, NASIMA has, a robust structure to accommodate all your challenges with NAFDAC. So you can also approach NASIMA. Thank you very much, panelists. And can we have the group photograph? A round of applause for our panelists.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, can you put your hands together for Mr. Olulope for such a powerful and a robust panel discussion. I feel that we have addressed very key concerns. And for those who still have burning questions, I will solicit the ICT unit, Mr. Peter. Let's have that channel where good. So please, you have questions, you have places you need clarity, kindly look on the screen and see those addresses. You can forward those concerns immediately. ICT, I'm seeing something different on the screen. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that very clear information. Thank you. Well, put your hands together for this powerful set of young men and women that have addressed very fundamental. I said you should put your hands together for, you are not cooperating. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, to round up the day, I want you to welcome Mr. Abdussalam Mohammed. He is the Business Development Officer for the Innovative Youth in Agriculture project. He is versatile. He's a young man. He has worked within the terrain of agribusiness as far as Nigeria is concerned. And he's going to be leading us on the final thing we are going to be doing today. So I wouldn't want to take your time. Mr. Abdussalam Mohammed, you are welcome on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our wonderful MC. And thank you very much for coming, all the future CEOs. We're very happy to have you here. We believe that during the course of this engagement, you have been able to network with different stakeholders and partners, and also within yourselves, the cohort 1 and cohort 2. And then also we believe that there was a lot of learning and knowledge sharing in this process. Lastly, we are going to be having a business clinic whereby we'll divide you into 5 groups. So everybody should be seated where he or she is. From my left-hand side here, we're dividing you into 2 groups. Some of our business consultants and our technical consultants are here to talk to you about your businesses. So we're breaking into syndicate groups. For this, we're going to be having 3 groups. From here to that point, and then to the other point, and then finally on that end. And lastly, the Agro Park people. I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Oshun Idowu. Mr. Oshun Idowu, please, can you come over? Mr. Oshun, please come over. The Agro Park entrepreneurs, please. You are to work with Mr. Oshun Idowu. You are to move to the other hall outside. Can we have the Agro Park trainees? Please stand up. The Agro Park trainees, you can follow Mr. Oshun Idowu. Mr. Tokumbo, can you please share the consultants to take different groups? Group 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Where is Faith? Is Faith here?
we see is that we have a huge population of youthful people, but a lot of them not gainfully employed and with the skill set deficiency required, especially in a space like agriculture. So with this initiative to train well over 40,000 of those people in Lagos, Kaduna and Kano, specifically 13,548 in Lagos, and then with indirect beneficiaries of well over 242,742 people, we believe that we should be able to at least begin to close the gap around the deficiencies, around the deficits we have in our food supply system.
I believe the challenge young people face majorly in getting employment in agriculture is because we youth of nowadays, we want to make our money in the fastest way, and we want like big money for a very small job done. So, and we all know that agriculture deals with tilling of the soil. You have to do something, plow the ground, which people think is tedious. And nowadays, agriculture has another level in terms of technology. We have different sectors in agriculture, and even on so youths can fit themselves into a particular place that they best fit in. And I think most people do not know about this. And the limitations for young women is that people have this general belief that agriculture is labor intensive, and they feel that it's only male that can do those jobs that are labor intensive, which shouldn't be. There are lots of things we can do as a female in agriculture. We can partake in the agribusiness, we can partake in a whole lot of stuff in agriculture. This training will serve as a mitigation to some of the challenges, because already different topics have been taught on leadership, understanding oneself, your emotion, your personality, and they taught us different characteristics of individual. So each one of us, we know where we fall into, irrespective of a particular work or the kind of labor required to execute a work. I know, okay, yes, I can fit in well. So it's a mitigation actually.
I've been into agriculture for about 3 years now, and I never heard about this kind of training. But when I got this information that a training like this is going on, I was encouraged and inspired to come. It's an experience that cannot be paid for. Because even years in the university, I'm not sure, things like this are not really taught. I was never exposed to this kind of experience. It has been life transforming, especially in the agribusiness and in agriculture. It's like a paradigm shift for me. What I think many people, especially women or young women, are shying away from this is one, information. They don't have the necessary information to equip them to know that, okay, this particular part of career you are choosing is the best for you at this time. Especially where the world is going now, that, okay, the oil industry is coming down, there's no job opportunity anywhere, and agriculture now becomes like the future of our country. So I believe now, if we can adequately, empower people with the right information at the right time, especially women in code, we have more people being interested in farming and agribusiness. What we have here is 70% women and 30% men. And I believe that if somebody like me, with what I've learned, go out, I will be like a role model to another woman that, if Joy can do this kind of thing, me, I think I can do it. This program has actually, bridged the gap between what we think agricultural was and what we think it is and where it's going now. So now I am empowered now. Even with everything I've learned, my mind is open, and I'm like, I want to hit the ground running in agriculture. So with that, I can employ more women, I can empower more women, I can train more women, and we'll have more women in agriculture than before. So I can only say I am grateful for this experience right now, and the fact that the training is still ongoing is a great deal for me. And of course, I believe for other beneficiaries as well.
One of the challenges young Africans face in securing jobs in the agricultural sector is that they don't have the employability skills in order to be employed in firms. And one of the reasons is because of the educational system we find ourselves in Nigeria. In school, the educational system is not directly focused on gaining employment. It's directly focused on learning. They do more of theory and not practical experience. So this training being afforded by the Young African Works IITA project has given us so many experienced hands, people who have done this before and have succeeded, people who have achieved so many, and they have put us through and guided us through, helping us to gain practical and valuable experience that could be used in tackling problems of unemployment in Africa. Before, I cannot confidently say I can manage anything agricultural firms or anything relating to agriculture, but now I can confidently say that I can fit as a farm manager in any poultry farm I find myself.
There is a basic stereotype that women are not supposed to do some kind of jobs, particularly jobs that are labor intensive, and agriculture is an example of jobs like that. And then when you even find a woman who is in the sector, who is doing great things, she's basically considered as a man. And I tell people when I do something extraordinary and they say she's a woman like a man, I tell people, don't call me a woman like a man. I am a woman who is basically expressing my strength. I'm displaying my strength and my magic. Because I am a woman doesn't limit me. I tend to do things that even guys might not have the courage to do it. So I think if young women can be sensitized on issues like this, then they will know that they're not supposed to sit back when it comes to agriculture. We are all supposed to work because we all eat. So we all should be able to do the job.
We have to do with what we call practical exposure of the student. Understand? If children can have encouragement for we, the teachers, based on what we are teaching them as regards what is agriculture. In fact, actually agriculture can be interesting.
We can make agriculture attractive to secondary school students with these modern innovations. Agriculture is a very good subject, but due to the emphasis that is given to some of the subjects, let me say like mathematics and English and whatsoever, makes students and whatsoever to neglect agric science. You understand? They are not seeing it as anything profitable and whatsoever. So every student's intention is to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatsoever. Nobody wants to become a farmer. But with these modern ways and innovations, machines and whatsoever, now that we get, actually, if they are put into practice, agriculture will remain the backbone of every economy.
modern method of farming can increase agribusiness. And if they leave their traditional method of farming that they have adopted since donkey years ago, there might be improvement in food production and also helps in employment.
Let's round off, please.
What we did was for them to have the right attitude towards learning and work. And it was met with a bit friction, but now they are enjoying the work. They want to do because they are getting the hands-on experience apart from what they were taught in school. So this is how it is being done in the real world. So they see it as an opportunity that this is a privilege and a golden one, because it's not about passing exams academically, but now they see it in the real life. And I can say that from my interactions with them over a few days, they are adding more to their knowledge, they are learning new. And once you are writing Monday, you should write the exact date. Like Monday was 8 February 2021.
Hello everyone.
The experience, the first 2 days were kind of weird because, you know, as an individual, there's what you are thinking about, what you think you meet.
To assess those facilities are the bankable business plans. Therefore, we're imploring that you complete your business plans and forward it to us so that we can work with you towards assessing available financing options. Your BDS facilitators are sharing their contacts with you, and I as well have shared my business contact with you. You can reach us at any moment, and we'll be there to assist you at the point of your needs. I would like to call my colleague, Mrs. Evelyn, to come and round up the day. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can we have a bit of decorum in the house, please? Oh, okay. Oh, Abdul, I say you should move small. Okay, good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can hear me. I just need 2 minutes of your time. So it is 5:05. We've gone beyond our time limit for today, but you would all agree with me that we've had very engaging conversations, and I hope, and it's our dream, that you have been enriched by the information you've received today, and that you are more committed to finalizing and improving your businesses such that you become the future millionaires and billionaires that we want from the agricultural sector. I want to believe that the conversations and the inputs from our seasoned panelists and speakers have inspired you, and I want to encourage you all to take this home in good faith and ensure you continue to network and collaborate, both with some of your colleagues that you are meeting for the first time, some of the speakers whom you've met. Please make sure you establish good contact and continue to relate with us. For today, we have extensively dealt with the entrepreneurship cohorts, the young farmers cohorts, and tomorrow we'll be continuing with the employment cohorts. Those of you here, those of you here do not need to engage further tomorrow. You can stream online and watch your other colleagues. So let's give tomorrow for the technical intent
while you continue to refine your business plan and continue to engage with our colleagues, Abdul and the rest of the business development service providers. Well, so my mandate is very easy, just to bring to conclusion the day's event. And I would like to thank our sitting speakers and panelists, all the government officials who were present, and all the chiefs and CEOs who were present, the bank representatives from Sterling Bank, from EcoBank, Nisal Microfinance Bank, Bank of Industry, Trade and Investment Company. I would also like to thank our private sector organizations, the exhibitors who are here all day. Would like to thank you for being part of this conversation and being part of our system of stakeholders. We look forward to collaborating with you, and we hope that the mentorship system we're putting in place to support our trainees, that you are part of this conversation and continue to promote the initiative which we've started. For our trainees, I like to say this, but yeah, so the sky is just our starting point, right? We're just starting we're on a long-term journey. So I would like to encourage you, as you've heard from the business development services providers, please continue to refine your business plan and ensure that the mentoring system we are putting in place, that you follow the modules or the courses we've put to help you to become champions of the agricultural sector. So we'll continue to engage with you, and we'll continue to send subsequent updates to you. If there are any concerns that you have, please feel free to write to us. I believe our social media platform and our emails will be projected there. If you have any questions, comments, please relay back to us your feedback. We're always here to listen to you, and we look forward to the exciting journey ahead. Again, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you to the iYouth Project team. Thank you to the technical team, those that have streamed live our events, the microphone and the sounds, everything we've had here today has been perfect. The management, our event planners, and everyone who has put this together. Thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Zacchaeus. Is that one? So you are not talking again.
Zacchaeus Iswabagi, it was nice having you, and hope to see you same time tomorrow for an exciting session. Thank you very much. I'm not talking to them, I'm talking to you, Peter. All right. Thank you.